Imagine this. It's well past midnight. The road stretches endlessly ahead, illuminated only by your headlights cutting through the darkness, and the world feels distant, quiet, almost abandoned, when suddenly you see someone standing on the shoulder of the highway, motionless, facing the road, their outline barely visible against the night. And in that instant your mind races with questions. Who are they? Why are they here? And should you stop? Because deep down you know this stretch of road is empty, has been empty for miles, and yet there they are waiting. And tonight on True Terror Files Official, we are investigating one of the most chilling, unsolved mysteries whispered among late-night drivers for decades. The Phantom Highway Hitchhiker, a figure reported across countries, generations, and cultures, appearing suddenly on desolate roads, only to vanish without a trace, sometimes before the car can stop, sometimes after entering the vehicle, and sometimes leaving behind nothing but a lingering sense of dread that never quite fades. And before we go any further, ask yourself this: have you ever felt watched while driving alone at night? Ever checked your rearview mirror for no clear reason? Ever felt that sudden chill for no explainable cause? Because if you have, you are not alone, and if stories are to be believed, you may have brushed past something far older and far darker than coincidence. So if you're new here, this is True Terror Files Official, where we investigate real unsolved mysteries, unexplained encounters, and chilling cases that refuse to stay buried. And if you want more true horror grounded in real accounts, real fear, and unanswered questions, make sure you subscribe and turn on notifications, because the road ahead only gets darker from here. Across decades, drivers from completely different regions have reported strikingly similar encounters, often without ever knowing such stories existed before their own experience. And that alone has unsettled investigators for years, because these are not stories shared between friends around campfires, but testimonies given in isolation, sometimes reluctantly, sometimes years later, when the memory still feels disturbingly vivid, with drivers describing seeing a lone hitchhiker wearing outdated clothing, standing unnaturally still, face partially obscured, only to vanish the moment headlights pass over them, while others tell of stopping their vehicles, watching the figure approach, reaching for the door handle, and then disappearing into thin air, leaving no footprints, no sound, no explanation. And perhaps most unsettling are the accounts where the hitchhiker allegedly enters the car, sits silently for several minutes, and then is noticed in the rearview mirror, only to be gone when the driver turns their head, with doors never opening, windows never moving, and the car continuing down the road as if nothing happened. And skeptics often suggest fatigue, hallucinations, or long drive disorientation. But psychologists note that hallucinations rarely manifest with consistent imagery across unrelated individuals, especially when details such as clothing style, behavior, and location patterns align so closely. And when police records quietly confirm numerous calls reporting someone standing on the highway, with no one found at the scene, the question becomes deeply uncomfortable. Are these drivers all imagining the same thing? Or are they witnessing something that simply does not leave physical evidence behind? Long before highways were paved and headlights pierced the night, stories of spectral travelers appeared in folklore across Europe, Asia, and the Americas, describing wandering figures who appeared on roads shortly before accidents, disappearances, or unexplained deaths, often portrayed as omens, warnings, or restless souls unable to move on. And when modern researchers mapped phantom hitchhiker sightings, an unsettling pattern emerged. Many occur near roads built over former migration trails, old battlegrounds, or sites tied to unresolved tragedies. including stretches of highway associated with missing persons cases where bodies were never recovered. Vehicles were found abandoned, or individuals simply vanished while traveling alone. And while no direct causal link can be proven, the overlap between these disappearance corridors and hitchhiker reports raises disturbing questions about whether these roads carry residual psychological weight or something far stranger. And adding to the mystery are reports of ghost cars traveling alongside drivers at matching speeds, only to fade away or disappear around curves that no vehicle could realistically navigate, with some witnesses claiming these cars were linked to hitchhiker sightings moments earlier, as if part of the same phenomenon, challenging the idea that this is a simple ghost story and pushing it closer to something deeply woven into the geography itself. If the phantom highway hitchhiker exists, the most terrifying question isn't what it is, but why it appears, because the behavior described by witnesses does not always suggest aggression, yet it rarely feels benign, with some drivers reporting an overwhelming sense of dread the moment they see the figure, while others describe a sudden compulsion to slow down or stop, as if influenced by something beyond rational thought, leading theorists to suggest the hitchhiker may act as a psychological trigger rather than a physical threat, possibly manifesting in moments of vulnerability, exhaustion, or emotional stress, while more speculative theories propose interdimensional overlaps, time-slip phenomena, or residual imprints of past trauma replaying under specific conditions. And then there are the warnings drivers who ignored the figure and later avoided accidents by seconds, or those who stopped and later learned of deadly crashes ahead, raising the unsettling possibility that the hitchhiker is neither hunter nor victim, but something caught between, appearing not to cause harm, but to signal danger in ways we don't fully understand. And yet, the darker accounts remain those where the encounter is followed by weeks of nightmares, persistent anxiety, or the feeling of being followed long after the road ends, suggesting that whatever is encountered may not always stay behind. Today, in 2026, with GPS tracking, traffic cameras, and constant digital monitoring, the phantom highway hitchhiker continues to be reported, still leaving no trace, no footage, and no physical evidence, defying the logic of a surveillance-saturated world. And that may be the most unsettling detail of all, because it suggests that whatever these drivers are seeing does not operate within the boundaries we understand. And as we review the accounts, the locations, the patterns, and the psychological aftermath, one truth remains painfully clear: this mystery refuses to be solved, leaving us with only questions and warnings whispered through late-night drives. So now we turn to you, because mysteries like this persist, not just because they are frightening, but because they are shared. Have you ever seen something on the road that vanished too quickly to explain, felt compelled to slow down for no reason, or encountered a presence that logic couldn't account for? If so, share your experience in the comments, because your story may be another piece of this unsolved puzzle. And until our next investigation, stay aware, stay curious, and remember, some roads are never truly empty. And this has been True Terror Files Official.